Hello children, welcome back to your 8th standard mathematics class. We are doing lesson number 8, Quadrilateral Constructions and Types. Today let's learn about some more special quadrilaterals. Parallelogram. A quadrilateral having opposite sides parallel is called a parallelogram. That is, in a parallelogram, sides AB and DC are parallel and also sides AD and BC are parallel. We know that the interior angles made by a transversal of parallel lines are supplementary. Therefore, we can write measure angle A plus measure angle B is 180 degree. Measure angle B plus measure angle C is 180 degree. Measure angle C plus measure angle D is equal to 180 degree. Measure angle A plus measure angle D is equal to 180 degree. These are the interior angles made by the parallel lines. In other words, in a parallelogram, the adjacent angles are supplementary.
So let's see the properties of a parallelogram. Adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. That is, we saw that the interior angles made by the transversal of parallel lines are supplementary. Using that property, we can say that the adjacent angles of a parallelogram are supplementary. Opposite angles are congruent. Opposite sides are congruent and the diagonals bisect each other. Now let's see what is a trapezium. If only one pair of opposite sides of a quadrilateral is parallel, then it is called a trapezium. Now in this quadrilateral, the sides W, Z and X, Y are parallel. Only one pair of opposite sides are parallel in this quadrilateral. So W, X, Y, Z is called a trapezium. Now in this case, since the sides W, Z and X, Y are parallel, we can write measure angle W plus measure angle X is 180 because these are again interior angles formed by the transversal of parallel lines. Also we can write measure angle Z plus measure angle Y is 180. Now let's see the next quadrilateral, kite. If one diagonal is the perpendicular bisector of the other diagonal, then the quadrilateral is called a kite. Quadrilateral ABCD is a kite if the diagonal BD bisects the diagonal AC. Now here we see that the segment AE is congruent to AC, or diagonal BD is the perpendicular bisector of AC. Then quadrilateral ABCD is called a kite. Now let us see the properties of a kite. Two pairs of adjacent sides are congruent. That is, in this figure, side AB and side BC are congruent, and also side AD and side DC are congruent. That is, the two pairs of adjacent sides are congruent. The second property is one pair of opposite angles is congruent. That is, measure angle BAD is congruent to measure angle BCD. One pair of opposite angles are congruent. Now let us see practice set 8.3, the first question. Measures of opposite angles of a parallelogram are 3x minus 2 degree and 50 minus x degree. Find the measures of each angle. So let's take the parallelogram as ABCD. So let us take angle A as 3x minus 2 degree and the angle opposite to A, that is angle C, as 50 minus x degree. So we have written quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Measure angle A is 3x minus 2 degree and measure angle C is 50 minus x degree. This is given. We know that the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So we can write measure angle A is equal to measure angle C. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Therefore, measure angle A is equal to measure angle C. Measure angle A is 3x minus 2 degree. That's equal to 50 minus x. Now let us solve this equation. So we get 3x plus x is equal to 50 plus 2. 3x plus x is 4x. That's equal to 50 plus 2 is 52. So we get x is equal to 52 divided by 4. Therefore x is equal to 13. So measure angle A is equal to 3x minus 2 degree. That is 3 multiplied by 13 minus 2. 3 multiplied by 13 is 39 minus 2. Therefore, measure angle A is equal to 39 minus 2 is 37. So measure angle A is 37. Therefore, measure angle A is equal to measure angle C is equal to 37 degree. Because angle A and angle C are congruent. In a parallelogram, the adjacent angles are supplementary. Therefore, we can write measure angle A plus measure angle B is equal to 180 degree. Substituting the value of measure angle A as 37 degree, we get 37 plus measure angle B is equal to 180 degree. So measure angle B is equal to 180 minus 37. Therefore, measure angle B is equal to 180 minus 37 is 143 degree. Now we know that measure angle B and measure angle D are congruent because they are opposite angles. Therefore, measure angle B is equal to measure angle D is equal to 143 degree. Therefore, the measures of all angles of the parallelogram are 37 degree, 143 degree, 37 degree and 143 degree. Opposite angles are congruent here. Question number 2. Referring the adjacent figure of a parallelogram, write the answers of the questions given below. Now it's given that WXYZ is a parallelogram. The first question is, if length WZ is 4.5 centimeters, then length XY is how much? We know that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So if length WZ is 4.5, how much is length XY? Length XY is also 4.5 centimeters. So the solution is length XY is equal to length WZ is equal to 4.5 centimeters because the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. It's important that you write the reason. The second question, if length YZ is 8.2 centimeters, then what is the length XW? Side YZ and side XW are opposite sides of the parallelogram. So YZ and XW are opposite sides of the parallelogram, and we know that opposite sides of the parallelogram are congruent. So if YZ is 8.2, then length XW is also 8.2 centimeters. Please complete this question. The third question is, if length OX is 2.5 centimeters, then what is length OZ? Length OX is given 2.5 centimeters. We want to find length OZ. We know that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So if length OX is 2.5, the length OZ is also 2.5 centimeters. So the solution is length OZ is equal to length OX is equal to 2.5 centimeters because the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. The fourth question is, if length WO is 3.3 centimeters, then length WY is equal to how much? We know that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So length WO and length OY will be the same, or length WY will be 2 times the length of WO. So the solution is length WY is equal to 2 times the length WO because the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So that is 2 multiplied by 3.3. That is equal to 6.6 centimeters. So therefore Therefore, length WY is equal to 6.6 centimeters. The fifth question is, if measure angle WZY is 120 degree, then what is measure angle WXY and measure angle XWZ? The measure of angle WZY is given 120 degree. So, how much is measure angle WXY? Yes, WXY is also 120 degree. The reason is opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. We have measure angle WXY is equal to measure angle WZY is equal to 120 degree because opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Now the second part is we want to find the measure of angle XWZ. We know that measure angle WZY is 120. Now angle Z and angle W are adjacent angles. And in a parallelogram, the adjacent angles are supplementary. So we can write the sum of these angles as 180 degree. So measure angle WZY plus measure angle XWZ is 180 degree. So substituting the measure of angle WZY, we get 120 plus measure angle XWZ is 180 degree. Therefore, we get measure angle XWZ is 180 minus 120 degree. Therefore, measure angle XWZ is 60 degree.
Please solve the sums once in your notebook. Thank you and have a nice day.